Taxes involved in transferring a land title. Question: what are the taxes involved in transferring a land title? Answer: transferring a land title in the Philippines involves several taxes, which vary depending on the specific transaction type, for example, sale, donation, inheritance. Here's a breakdown of the common taxes involved. 1. Documentary Stamp Tax (DST). Purpose: this is a tax levied on documents that evidence a transaction, including deeds of sale, deeds of donation, and other legal instruments related to property transfer. Calculation: the DST rate is based on the value of the property being transferred. For deeds of sale, the rate is typically 1.5% of the selling price. For donations, the rate varies depending on the relationship between the donor and donee. Payment: the DST is usually paid by the seller or donor, but the responsibility can be negotiated between the parties. 2. Capital Gains Tax (CGT). Purpose: this tax applies to the profit realized from the sale of a capital asset, including real estate. Calculation: the CGT rate is 6% of the net capital gain, which is the difference between the selling price and the acquisition cost, including expenses incurred. Exemptions: certain transactions, such as the sale of a principal residence, may be exempt from CGT. 3. Transfer Tax. Purpose: this tax is levied by local government units (LGUs) on the transfer of property ownership within their jurisdiction. Calculation: the transfer tax rate varies from one LGU to another and is typically a percentage of the selling price. Payment: the buyer is usually responsible for paying the transfer tax. 4. Donor's Tax. Purpose: this tax applies when a property is transferred through donation. Calculation: the donor's tax rate depends on the relationship between the donor and donee. It's typically lower for close relatives. Payment: the donor is responsible for paying the donor's tax. 5. Real Property Tax (ARPT). Purpose: this is an annual tax levied on real estate ownership. Calculation: the ARPT is based on the assessed value of the property. Payment: the property owner is responsible for paying the ARPT additional considerations. Other fees: aside from taxes, there are other fees associated with land title transfer, such as registration fees at the Registry of Deeds and legal fees for professional assistance. Tax exemptions: certain transactions, such as transfers between family members or inheritance from a spouse, may be exempt from some taxes. Negotiation: the responsibility for paying taxes can be negotiated between the buyer and seller.